in sharecropping and did not own the land.
Okay, so after leaving and becoming involved in higher education at Tennessee State University, you went on to Tuskegee Institute, Tuskegee University today, and became involved in veterinarian medicine.
Right.
Also, you were involved in the civil rights movement, and I think we introduced you as the first vice president for the Nashville branch of the NAACP, and most people will recognize you as a person who has been involved with the NAACP for a long time. Let's talk about your involvement with the NAACP and how you first became involved and why you became involved, because I think after your involvement, it eventually became almost a lifelong involvement with you. You're still very intimately a part of the NAACP. Let's talk about that. You're coming into the organization and reasons.
And when I went to Tuskegee, segregation in Alabama at the time, in particular Tuskegee, because there were a number of blacks there in Macon County. You have the VA hospital there operated by blacks. You had Tuskegee Institute there, was a black administration. And so Tuskegee was treated, Tuskegee and the people around Tuskegee was treated in a way that was almost not even imaginable, in that the people in Tuskegee were not allowed to vote. And there was a person who passed a bill which outlawed people in Tuskegee having the privilege of voting and made it a 28-sided figure, gerrymandering, so that I operated, or worked rather, with Dr. Charles Gomedian, a sociologist there and a very profound leader there. And of course, we did a number of things to try to overcome that and started the Tuskegee Civic Association. He started it, of course, and I just joined in there and as a student. And when I left there and started to work as a veterinarian in Illinois, I found out that where I was located in Randolph County, Sparta, Illinois, being the little town of 4,000, there was not a branch of the NAACP there, and blacks could not even, in the land of Lincoln, so to speak, even have a place that they go and sit down and have a meal and get the kind of service that other people took for granted. So I joined, and adjoining county, I joined the NAACP. The dues at that time were $2 per year. I joined the NAACP there, and then subsequently started a branch of the NAACP in Randolph County. And from that, I started a number of branches, served in several capacities, regional director in the Southwest District of Illinois, and of course I came to Nashville in '69 and started to work with the Nashville branch in NAACP. And in 1973, after Dr. Poe, who was a very dynamic leader for about 6 months, left, I was the first vice president of the Nashville branch and became the president at that time and served until the end of '80. So I've had a little training in NAACP, because many places I've been, there were not many people there to do much of anything. So you did committee work as well as served as an officer and so forth. I
know one of the great things that you've been concerned about certainly has to be the incarceration rate of African Americans in the Tennessee penal system, correction system. And let's talk about that for a while as part of the civil rights, which is to say that if the NAACP is concerned about civil rights, what are some of the civil rights that they're concerned about? And let's sort of focus in on the correction system. What have you found in your experiences dealing with the NAACP and civil rights in Nashville, Tennessee, that might be instructive to our audience this morning?
Well, one of the things I've found, Reverend Haney, is that there are people in prison who could have been there, who are there, just like I could have been. People who were participating in the registration and the voting rights of African Americans, and who have gotten in trouble just for that act. And that brings to mind Steve Parker, Bill Allen, people who participated. Would come through Tennessee State sometime when I lived in Illinois, but I did know that there was quite a bit of upheaval going on at Tennessee State University, Fisk University, as well as other predominantly black colleges, especially in the South, where people were in a quest for voting rights. And as a result of that, I found that these two gentlemen that I just mentioned are in prison right now for having gotten in trouble, basically, because of their quest for the rights that other people take for granted. So I think we need to take a strong look at the young people and different age groups of people who are in prison. And if you check out their record, the chronology of their activities would point that it started because they decided to defend themselves against the powers that be and people who were, in a sense, pushing them around for sociological reasons. And I think you should know that we are very hopeful that in the case of Bill Allen and Steve Parker, that these gentlemen will be have that day in court. They have pressed and persevered to the point that now parole is quite likely, and certainly a full hearing, evidentiary hearing that they have been struggling for years to bring before the public.
You know, I think that's one of the most famous cases, not only in the state of Tennessee, but in the nation in reference to incarceration of persons. Let's talk about that, because I think you've mentioned the name Bill Allen and Steve Parker, and I know personally that it was something that happened in the 1960s and whatnot, but give our audience some idea in terms of exactly what are we talking about.